Archive Story, Episode 18, originally written January 25th, 2024. If you've ever been on an old country dirt road, you know that through time the ruts just get deeper and deeper and more pronounced. I can still see the rutted red dirt roads where I grew up. The road was much lower than the sides where tall wild grass grew. Often, there was also a strip down the very center that was grass. Because once the ruts were cut in, the only path for the tires was on those ruts. Our lives can easily become like those old dirt roads. We can get in a habit of doing something, and then, before we know it, we've carved out deep ruts in our road. I have habits I've developed, and they are very good habits. I make my bed the first thing when I get out of bed each morning. I have additional morning and then evening routines. These are very good habits. But sometimes I believe we need to jar things loose in our lives, and that can only be done by doing something completely out of our norm. People interest me greatly. I listen to many documentaries on all types of people. I like to know why and how they lived their lives and how it benefited them or not. Once I was listening to a documentary on Paul Simon, someone I believe to be one of the greatest songwriters of all time. His song, Bridge Over Troubled Water, was their biggest hit. Ironically, it was the last recorded song on their last album before parting for solo careers. They did not know at the time that the song would become the hit that it did. I don't think that would have mattered. It was simply time for them to do a new thing. The interesting thing I've heard about Paul Simon say in a few different documentaries is that he has no idea where that song came from. He is not a religious person. He is certainly not a Christian. He is Jewish and says he doesn't ascribe to any faith. However, before he wrote one of his most famous songs, he said he had been on a binge of listening to gospel songs for days on end, which was totally out of the norm for him. I've never heard him say why he did that, other than he was just compelled to do something different, to listen to different music. After weeks of listening to gospel music, he was laying on his bed one day with his guitar in hand and was just casually strumming. Out of nowhere came the song. To this day, he says he has no idea where it came from. Have you ever had a creative idea or a thought that just came out of nowhere? I know I have. I've also been stuck searching for a creative idea in a sea of nothing. When we are in a sea of nothing or are traveling down the same rutted road, there is no room for change. Trying to bounce out of those ruts is difficult because of the surrounding obstacles. Sometimes we just stay in those ruts because we are afraid to do anything different. I believe that doing something different is critical to our growth as a person, our creative flow, and our success. It doesn't matter if you are a business person in corporate America or an artist with a paintbrush. Just do something very different. Go someplace you've never gone before. Listen to music you've never listened to before. Talk to people you've never talked to before. Get involved in a new group, learning something new. Expand your horizons. I have a lot of retired friends who are doing well. I have friends who are looking forward to retiring too. However, I've also seen friends and family who have literally withered up and died just a few years after retirement. If you are of retirement age, embrace this as an opportunity to do something completely different. Don't let age or your surroundings stop you. If you are young and have just graduated high school, don't cling to the old friends. Love them, keep them dear to your heart, but embrace new people of all ages and nationalities. Go to places you've never been in your life. Embrace variety. If you are approaching middle age and have harbored a dream in your heart for far too many years, move forward. Develop a plan and do something different that will help you achieve that dream. In fact, no matter your age, dream and plan to achieve that dream. I love to write, and I have so many novels and even nonfiction books in my heart and on my list to write. But sometimes I just need to do something different. In the spring of 2023, I began to watercolor paint. Both writing and painting are creative endeavors, but very different in thought and skill. When I feel bogged down, I just stop and do something different. On days that I have planned to write, but know I need to jar myself, I paint instead. Habits. Good habits are crucial to living a good life, but sometimes we just have to intentionally break out and do something different. Thank you for listening. Be sure and subscribe to this podcast, plus my other podcast, The Story with Nancy Jackson, where you will hear the actual, professionally narrated novel that syncs with after the story. Link is in the notes.